Good afternoon, everyone. Thank you so much for joining us today. My name is Stephen, and I'm one of the Senior Digital Account Managers at 42 Gears. Today's webinar is all about macOS management and security and how you can use SureMDM to effectively overcome the challenges associated with managing Mac OS-based devices. This is my co-presenter, Saurabh, who works in our pre-sales engineering team.
Hi, everyone.
Before we begin, I would request you drop any questions you may have during the presentation in the question box panel that is present on the right-hand side of the screen, and we'll answer them at the end of the presentation. Now let's get started. The steady rise in popularity of Macs in the enterprise space and schools and healthcare organizations has made it necessary for IT teams to deploy, connect, inventory, and secure this influx of devices. Millennials from a large chunk of our workforce, and they need anytime, anywhere access to resources to do their job efficiently and effectively. However, managing Macs can be complicated, as Macs, these devices coexist in a hybrid environment, along with devices running other OSs. And many traditional solutions are not often themes and good enough to manage macOS devices in a remote environment. Thus, it is imperative for IT teams to implement comprehensive tools that allow them to manage and secure these devices as effectively as possible and be able to manage them on the same type of level as other OSs. Let's take a look at some of the challenges that IT teams face while securely managing Macs as part of the overall IT infrastructure. One of the major challenges in Mac management is that many IT teams have historically prioritized managing Windows and Android devices over managing macOS devices. macOS devices are often outnumbered by Windows devices in almost every organization, be that in schools, hospitals, or other enterprises. Thus, managing Mac devices and their entire lifecycle has never been top priority for IT teams. But as more and more organizations start to adopt macOS devices on a large scale, there has been a marked shift in the way IT teams intend to manage the new device landscape. Challenge number 2, we will look at how IT admins manage macOS devices in silos. Many device management tools are optimized to manage Windows and Android, but not macOSs. As a result, most of these tools lack the capability of a robust macOS management solution. This forces IT admins to use the siloed approach to manage macOS devices, which in turn increases the cost and complexity of managing these devices. The third biggest challenge encountered by IT teams while managing Macs is traditionally Mac management tools. Solutions did not focus on security. Traditional Mac management tools are not equipped to deal with new age threats and prevent potential malware and data breaches. Today's organizations need a solution that can prevent the data loss or data leak from lost devices, restrict the access and unauthorized or potential risky applications, and monitor the compliance of these devices. And there's so much more as well. Now that we've looked at a few of the challenges related to macOS management and macOS devices, let's take a look at how 42 Gear solution works on them. (42Gears SureMDM is the one-stop solution to address the concerns that modern IT teams face when managing and securing Macs. It provides a unified platform for managing the entire life cycle of the Macs. Some of the most essential steps while managing these Macs are enrollment of the devices, configuring and managing devices remotely, enforcing policies, managing the applications on the devices, monitoring the compliance, and at the end of life cycle, decommissioning these devices. We'll take you through each step in a while. Now let's have a little look at some of the key benefits of using SureMDM for managing macOS devices and find out what our customers love about SureMDM Mac management solution. Firstly, it simplifies the management with comprehensive visibility and control. SureMDM provides a central management platform with advanced visibility to control enrolled devices. By seamlessly integrating with Apple Business Manager and Apple School Manager, SureMDM makes it easy to manage the life cycle of macOS devices. Secondly, SureMDM helps secure all of your Macs through a single point of control. By enrolling all the Macs into SureMDM, IT teams can enforce and manage security policies through a single point of control. Thirdly, it provides stronger security with advanced DLP capabilities. SureMDM provides granular level controls such as setting conditional access policies to ensure stronger data protection. Fourthly, it helps deliver a better user experience with seamless, secure access to business resources. SureMDM enables IT admins to configure apps over the air. It also helps them configure access policies so that users get secure access to business resources. And finally, it reduces cost and complexity. Adopting a unified endpoint platform to manage your entire device landscapes helps organizations to reduce the overall cost and complexity associated with managing Macs. Now that you're all aware of the benefits of using SureMDM for Mac management, we'll go through each stage of the life cycle. Saurav, why don't you take us through each stage of the Mac management life cycle in detail?
Sure, Stephen. The first stage in the lifecycle management of macOS begins with enrolling devices into SureMDM using Apple's Business Manager. Enrolling Macs with SureMDM is quick and easy. SureMDM's integration with Apple Business Manager allows you to provision macOS devices in bulk, hands-free over the air, that is, without manually configuring each device. Not only does this save time, but also allows you to get the devices ready to be used right out of the box. Similarly, IT teams can use Apple School Manager to deploy devices in classrooms. Then comes configuring macOS devices with the required settings. You can remotely configure settings on each macOS device or group of devices using SureMDM. You can also enable settings that will allow you to manage all your assets, track the precise location of the devices, control users' access to business resources, and troubleshoot devices remotely. Let me show you a demo of how to configure settings through jobs in SureMDM. So this is how SureMDM looks like, and this here you will have all the devices enrolled into SureMDM. We do have jobs for macOS devices in which we can create a job and push on the macOS for rebooting, shutting down the device, and scheduling operating system updates. You simply have to create a job by clicking on the specific job and giving the job name, and thus this can be approved or allowed for the devices or applied for the devices. And once it has been applied for the device, automatically the device will go for a reboot. Same is the condition of shutdown. You'll have to apply this job by creating a job from SureMDM jobs and push it on the device or devices. You can also schedule these jobs onto the devices at a particular time. Once this job has been applied on the devices, automatically device will go for a shutdown. You can also schedule operating system updates in which you can provide your product key and install actions such as download and install the operating system update. Or if the update has already been downloaded on the device, you simply need to install it. You can select all these options and then push it on the device, and automatically these options will be enabled for the devices. Not only this, you can also remotely locate the device. For example, if I want to track down my device location, I can simply locate the device and it will show me the exact latitude, longitude, and address of the device. This will be done in real time, and the date, time, and device name will also be shown on the Google Map. In case if you want to track down the historical location of the device, for example, I want to see the last 6 months of data, where exactly my device traveled, I can simply go into historical location and then track down my device where exactly it traveled in provided given time. You can also modify this time using modify option over here, in which you can provide the interval and then you can track the devices on the Google Map. You can also export this historical location by clicking on export and generating a CSV file and keeping into your local storage. Let's move to our next topic, which is enforcing policies. As an IT manager, the data security is your topmost priority. At the same time, you have to provide your employees with instant access to business resources. With SureMDM, you can configure policies remotely and push them to Mac OS devices consistently. For example, you push policies that include minimum password complexity standards, network settings, and VPN mandates. Also securing email access, conditional access, certificates, etc. Automating these common IT tasks free up your IT team to focus on other priorities. It also indirectly helps you to resolve IT help desk issues quickly. Let me show you how you can push policies easily through SureMDM console. For pushing policies, we do have profiles over here in which we can simply select Mac OS and then add the profile. I do have restriction profile in which I can simply configure the restriction profile, provide all those restrictions that I want to push on the device based on my preferences, like date and time should not be allowed on the device. I can simply uncheck this option. App Store should not be allowed. I can disable the option on SureMDM profiles and then push it on the devices directly. Not only this, you can have apps level of control in which you can restrict App Store or Gaming Center on the devices. You will have complete widget settings, media settings, such as if you want to disable the internal disk and etc. on the device, you can disable it directly from SureMDM console. You can also have sharing policies which you can set over here, in which you can set something like if mail should be disabled on the device or messages should be allowed on the devices. All these restriction policies based on functionality can also be set on SureMDM console and then can be pushed onto the devices remotely and silently. Not only this, you will have a complete configuration of Wi-Fi's in which you can whitelist the Wi-Fi onto the devices. For example, if I have SSID through which my devices should be connected, I can simply whitelist those SSIDs over here, give the security type, and enable the password for that Wi-Fi SSID. Also, I can simply say it should auto join the device whenever this particular SSID is enabled. Or if I want to set up a proxy, I can simply provide the server and port and authentication of that proxy. Not only this, you can also have certificate settings in which you can use your PKCS1 or PKCS12 certificates, which will have your corporate network authentication, and you can authenticate the device remotely and silently to your particular Wi-Fi's. That is your office Wi-Fi's. Once this profile has been pushed, automatically your device will be able to connect to your secure network. Now let's move on to next topic, that is application management. Distributing and managing applications is easy with SureMDM and Apple Business Manager and also Apple School Manager. As an admin, you can purchase apps and books in bulk and automatically distribute them to your end users. By providing quick access to the business apps and content, you can ensure that users have full access to all they need to be productive. After distributing the apps on all enrolled Macs, you can monitor the installed application, create custom reports to monitor app status and app versions. You can also restrict user access to only certain apps on macOS devices. It is even possible to customize, compile, and deploy in-house apps with 42 Gears Enterprise App Store. Let me quickly show a demo of this to you. On SureMDM, we have private app store, which is SureMDM App Store, where I can select Mac OS devices and then add the new application. You can upload your package or your manifest link on this particular area, which can be readily pushed on the device using application policy of SureMDM. Once your privately developed application has been added over here, you can simply go back to profiles, select macOS, and then configure application policy, where you can select that particular application and push it down to the devices remotely and silently. This will automatically install the application that you are pushing from SureMDM console. Not only this, if you want to blacklist or whitelist applications on the devices as well, you can select those particular application over here, and then you can blacklist the application remotely onto the devices. Once this application has been blacklisted, user will no longer be able to use that particular application on those particular devices. Not only this, you can also whitelist certain application in which you can give the name of that particular application or list of applications, and only those applications will be whitelisted on the device. Rest all application will be completely blacklisted. Once this activity has been completed, you can simply go to the reporting section, and then you can generate a report of jobs deployed or install job deployed or whatever application policy you have pushed on the device side. Not only this, you will be able to schedule the reports as well, and you can point the reports onto your email addresses. You can schedule the timings and dates of the report, or how the report should be, in which cycle the report should be generated. This will make sure that the reports is automatically pushed to the email address that you have provided over here. Next, we will see how to monitor compliance on Macs with SureMDM. Monitoring and ensuring compliance on your Mac OS devices can be made easier using SureMDM, even when your workforce is working in a remote environment. With SureMDM, you can monitor devices, functions, and meet compliance regulation to protect data on any corporate Mac desktops. You can easily monitor if encryption features such as file vault are enabled, password requirements are met, essential applications are enabled, and right OS and app updates are installed. Let me show you how to enable compliance policy on SureMDM. In the profile section, we do have file vault, which can make encryption of your Mac devices. You can configure the file vault over here and then provide your institutional or personal recovery key. And then you can use the certificate that should be used for encryption and then push this particular profile on the device. Once pushed, automatically your Mac will go for an encryption. Not only this, you also have a passcode policy on SureMDM on which you can provide the rules of setting the password, and you can force user to set password, and user will be getting a notification always unless and until they set the password according to the rules that you have set over here. On the rules, you can include the required alphanumeric value, if what should be the passcode length, what should be the complex digits that should be included in your Mac OS password. Also, the grace period for device auto lock, maximum number of fail attempts, or maximum auto lock as well on your MDM console. Once this passcode policy has been set, again, you can push it on the device. User will automatically get notification unless and until they set the right password that is according to the rules that you have set over here. That last stage in the Mac OS device lifecycle management is decommissioning devices. Whenever a Mac OS device reaches its end of life and has to be decommissioned, SureMDM can be used to wipe data from it. Sometimes you may also need to decommission a device in case if you find the device has fallen out of line or is lost. Decommissioning steps include wiping data and restoring the device to its factory reset settings. macOS device can then be easily re-enrolled and repurposed to other employees. I will demo the decommissioning steps to you now. On the SureMDM console, we do have dynamic jobs which will help you in wiping the devices. In case if your device has fallen out of line or you need to provide this device to a newer employee, you can simply set a wipe job over here. You can wipe the device entirely to its factory reset settings. Not only this, in case if you want to free up the license for MacBook that has been already provided on your SureMDM, which is already enrolled, and you have wiped that particular MacBook, you can simply delete that device and release the licenses from pending delete section. Once deleted, the devices will free up the license, and the license that were provided on your SureMDM console will be revoked or will be a newer license to be used. This was all about managing the life cycle of Mac OS devices. Now let's move on to the remote desktop control feature of SureMDM, one of the most essential aspects of managing Mac OS devices remotely. When working remotely, it is not uncommon for users to face problems while using their Macs. IT administrators and help desk technicians needs to identify issues proactively and troubleshoot problems in real time. Users may not be able to do their job if the devices are not configured properly, or if the system settings are incorrect, or maybe if the users don't have access to the right applications, or if their devices malfunction. IT teams needs to fix these issues from afar when employees are working remotely. That's where a remote desktop solution can help. With SureMDM, you can remotely troubleshoot Mac desktops and laptops, access files stored on the devices, and monitor processes based on their CPU RAM usage. You can even remotely reboot and power off Macs in case of any emergency. Let me show this feature to you. Mac devices remote control can be taken easily. You just have to click remote over here, and once you have taken remote, the remote screen of the Mac operating system will load up. You will have a complete touch access for the Mac operating system over here, in which you can perform the click events on the Mac devices that are enrolled on your SureMDM console. You can launch any settings, you can launch any application whenever you want. Not only this, you will have complete access to the file store of the device, in which if you want to download, delete, or upload something into the storage, or you are free to do that, you can simply select that specific file and download it locally. You will also have an access of the task manager of the device. That means all the remote process that is running on your macOS devices will be listed over here. In case if you want to kill any process or kill all the processes running on your Mac operating system, you are free to do that. You can simply select a particular process and then kill it. Not only this, you can also have a reboot settings on your devices from SureMDM dynamic jobs. You can lock your devices, you can reboot the device, you can also shut down the device and see the operating system updates.
Thanks for that, Saurabh. It's now time to answer the questions that have been submitted during the session. If you haven't already asked your question, now is the time. We'll give everyone some time to ask the questions that they may have. I can see that we already have a couple. So the first question that we have, Saurabh, is can we get the current location of macOS devices live?
Yes, we do have current location tracking of Mac OS devices. In that case, you can select the device and click on locate, which will in turn show you the location tracker. So once the location tracker is shown on the real time, your device's location will be updated over here with the latitude, longitude, and the date and time of the device. Not only this, you also will have a historical location tracking. Let's say I want to track down the location of last 6 months. I can track down the last 6 months location from SureMDM, and I can easily locate where exactly my device traveled. And this data can be modified using modify option over here, and can also be exported into your local device storage using export option over here.
Okay, the next question, how do you install privately developed applications onto Macs through SureMDM?
The privately developed Mac installation is pretty much easy, in that you just have to go back to App Store, and then you have to select Mac OS devices over here, and you can add new application in which you can upload the package or manifest link, and then you can go back to the profiles, create a policy of this application that has been uploaded on App Store, and then push it readily on the devices. So once these application has been pushed, automatic installation of those applications will happen on macOS devices.
Okay. Is it possible to disable software updates request notifications from the App Store?
Yes, we do have restriction profile, which will help in creating sharing or media or apps control over here, and then you can restrict disable software notifications from the App Store on the devices. You can simply enable this feature, and then you can push it on the devices. Once it has been pushed, automatically all the software update notifications can be disabled on the device.
Okay, I can see this question's been asked twice. Can we disable the webcam?
Yes, we can do disable the usage of camera or webcam on the devices, in which you can select your media or your sharing option, in which the camera option will be there, and you can disable the camera or functionality option directly from SureMDM console. Let me just show you the functionality over here, in which allow use of camera is listed, and you can disable the allow use of camera, push it on the devices, and the webcam will be disabled on the devices remotely and silently.
Okay, and the last question at the moment, do you have any option to remotely connecting Macs to Wi-Fi's?
Yes, we do have your Wi-Fi configuration, in which you can have a corporate network which can be listed over here, and you can add your SSID and security type. Once this has been added, your password can be added as well, and automatically join this particular SSID can be enabled. Once it is pushed on the device, whenever the Wi-Fi is available on the device, it will automatically go and connect to that specific Wi-Fi. Not only this, you can also do your proxy setup using SureMDM Wi-Fi configuration, and you can also authenticate your proxy setup or devices using the same. Not only this, you also have certificate option. In case if you are using certificate for joining your corporate networks, you can push these certificates on your Mac devices remotely and silently from SureMDM console, and automatically your devices can go and connect to those Wi-Fi SSIDs that you have whitelisted or your corporate network.
Okay, and with that, I can't see any more questions. So with that, we come to the end of the webinar. We hope you liked the session today. I hope we could answer all your queries related to macOS management. If you do have any more questions, please do feel free to send us an email at webinars@42gears.com or visit our website at www.42gears.com. Thank you everyone for joining today. If you would like to re-watch the webinar regarding macOS, we will be uploading it to our YouTube channel very shortly. I hope everyone has a nice afternoon. Goodbye.